2, and here's Modi.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Here's Modi, a show that is... We don't have a tagline for what the show is. We don't. We never really finished that off.
We found it last week.
Something about a Jewish comedian's view. You can kill the band at this point, I think. Thanks for coming.
It's fading out.
It's fading out.
Give it a sec.
Give it a sec. It's nice. We're in the new studios of Gotham, and everybody's figuring it out. It's much. We're trying to do a different shoot today, but yeah, we need a little like it's the view of the world through a Jewish comedian's eyes.
I thought it was like your favorite neighborhood Jew.
No,
well, our guest last week said support your local Jew.
Yeah,
support your local Jew.
I like that.
I like that.
That's it. Support your local Jew. Exactly. That's. Yeah. I like it. Good. And
we're
done.
stealing it. Okay.
We can.
Thanks
for tuning in. See you next week.
What would you like to discuss today?
Well, I don't know. We were having a very good conversation about Botox right before we.
Is that how you want to start?
Why not?
Let's go. What do you want to talk about?
We got Botox on Monday, and which is two days ago.
2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, I look at my face and I feel like, oh my God, I think it's falling, and then I have a panic attack. So I have like some work done or something, and then we just.
You say work done as if you've done this. This is like only your second time getting Botox.
Okay, third.
Maybe, but we don't count one of those times because I don't think she knew what she was doing.
Right. It was we go to Jody Levine.
She knows what she's doing.
She knows what the hell she's doing,
clarity.
and she is a dermatologist on the Upper East Side.
Of course.
She's the prices of the Upper East Side, and she does give us a friends and family discount. And but like this other place sent me this thing like it's like super cheap, and if you buy a package you get whatever. It was like, so we tried that and it wasn't good, so we went back to.
It just wasn't enough.
I don't know. I don't know. Jody kind of like.
It's an art.
She has this like this muscle chart of the face, and she's like, and she knows how she put it last time, and she's like Harvard doctor. The many years of this practice, it was worth it. And I said to her, because she's Jewish and she knows me, and I mean we're friends and family, like. And I said to her, I perform for the Jewish world, and for I'm going to be on the Israeli Day float parade for the council. I mean, this is not just for me; it's for Klal Yisrael. You're doing this for Israel. When you fix my face, it's not just for us. It's not a vanity thing. It's to support Israel. Support your local Jew.
Support your local Jew and help hold his face up.
Exactly. So that
her husband did my nose. So
okay, I mean, this is, and so you will get
and
you in a minute.
We're not getting a plug. And no, I'm calling her right after this and tell her to send money for this episode.
100%.
Oh my God!
Actually bleeping out her name.
Oh my God! Bleeping.
No,
don't bleep her name.
It's actually kind of a hot situation because he's like a plastic surgeon and she's like a dermatologist, and they operate out of this like duo private hospital. Like she's on one wing, he's on the other wing. And like they're such a power couple. It's like
yeah, they're amazing.
I'm sure they have stories of like.
I don't know. I've been there for his surgery, for Botox, whatever, and it's like first he has a full OR in there, and for some reason there's 80 employees. I don't know. They I don't know if it's nurses or nurses assistants or nurses this, it's a full operation. It's so impressive.
No pun intended.
And hello. Anyway, so she gave us a heavy pour.
Okay.
We're like, we're not playing around. Just hit that in there and get in. That was a good needle sound.
That was amazing.
And anyway, so she was, and she like made these notes on Leo's thing: 2 2s, 4 4s, 2s, 4s, 6, and then she goes, make that 2 into a 4.
Yeah, I was like, double it up, sister.
Double that up.
Hit me again.
What's going? And nobody's saying like maybe you're like a little young to be getting Botox.
She said that to me last time. She said, I don't really think you need any. And then that was 6 months ago. And then I came back. She was like, I guess I could have done more. So
it's a scandal.
No, it's not a scandal.
It works.
Let me tell you something. There are 19-year-olds getting Botox and filler, and it's all preventative.
There are 9-year-olds getting married in Yemen.
Wait. We know another dermatologist, also Upper East Side woman, very, very big deal, and she has kids, and she gives it to her kids who are 14, 15.
Okay, like
Right?
illegal.
Am I right or
It's not
wrong?
illegal.
well,
It's
it
not-
should be.
No, it's your preventative or whatever the
It's
thing they call it.
preventative.
is.
Okay, what kind of self?
I
What are
can't
we
wait.
teaching these
I-
children? First of all,
That you have to stay camera ready in this day and age. That's what we're
Exactly.
teaching children. We have Instagram Live. We have 3 cameras in the room. What do you want from us?
We're in
I
the
can-
room the size of a toilet with 3 cameras on
I
us
have
right
a
now.
camera
so-
up my nose. I'm practically getting a colostum. What's it?
enema,
What we
Never.
call it?
colostomy.
No,
God
colostomy
forbid.
is a bag.
Ew.
The whatever. When they put the tube up your
Up your butt. What's
Colonoscopy.
It called? A
colonoscopy. That's what I'm practically getting.
I think
God.
it's a scandal, and I'll tell you why.
I can't wait till you start doing it and realize it's
If
not.
I haven't done it until now, like I'm probably not going.
No,
to
you'll do it, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is good," and she'll be here like, "I just got in." She's gonna come in, her face will be like this TV screen. Phew, yes, I love Botox.
Wait, so here's the thing. I was super hot when I was 27,
Let's stop with that
28.
language. You're
No,
still
no,
hot.
Thank you. I'm hot for my age. I
Everyone's
look,
hot.
but I'm never going to look.
We
what I
had this
looked
discussion.
Like. We did.
It's not you trying to be 23 years old. It's you just trying to be the best version
No,
of
I'm trying
you.
to be 23 years old.
It's
You
the
are
it's you
23
just
years
bi-
old.
it's you just trying to be the best version of what you can be. It's not like if it doesn't bother you or anything.
For you, you do have to stay a level of camera ready. Like the
Yeah.
camera is
on my
harsh.
face, it's
Yeah,
camera
no,
is
I
harsh,
get that, but
and when
I,
you're in front of audiences, it's a public service. Honestly,
Somebody
Really?
to
said,
keep
It
it
is.
someone
together.
sent us pictures from that one of the shows I did during Passover, and I was actually not happy.
That's good.
It was good. It was a good. It was
a good feeling.
It was a
you
good
look
feeling.
amazing.
Baruch Hashem, and but you need to keep it together.
Speaking of Hashem, you've had some spiritual experiences lately.
So
that
have
I
you.
think you
So
wanted
have
to
you.
unpack here in this session.
We were not unpacking. We're sharing.
No,
it's not like an unpacking session.
Unpacking isn't a bad thing.
We went to. We had an amazing trip to Europe. We went to Hungary.
I saw on Instagram.
To Hungary, and then from Budapest, we drove up 2 hours towards the Ukrainian border.
Oh
we
my
were practically on the Ukrainian
were-
border.
I mean,
I
I
posted
was
a-
literally, I was really
Serious?
calling Zelensky to see if he had some place for me
I
to
was
do a
posting
set.
a picture on my Instagram story, and then I was adding the location, and like it pulls up all of everything of what's
Yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
you, and it goes Hungary-Ukraine border, and I
Shut
was like,
up.
oh, we're really close, guys.
Yeah, we went up there for the Yort site, the year anniversary of the death of Reb Shaya. Reb Shaya, the Kerestir Rebbe. It's a town called Kerestir. And those of you who are trying to picture what this is, imagine Fiddler on the Roof. Imagine the town. Like Anatevka, Kerestir. This is the town. And we went up there with my best friend Dina and her father, who is the great-grandchild of this rabbi, the
Oh,
oldest
wow.
living great-grandchild of this huge rabbi that people go to and pray there, and miracles happen in their lives. And we went.
It's a pilgrimage site that is active year-round, but especially near and on the Yort site death anniversary.
Near, not far from the awful.
Right? Just to
no,
clarify.
that was funny.
It's very good. It's exactly. It's a pilgrimage, but you go there
Just
and
to
you
like paint the picture that there's like people coming
so
and
it's
going.
like the
So-
Hajj, but for Jews.
What's the Hajj?
lahavdil. But
What? I'm sorry.
lahavdil.
bless
You
you.
always say when you compare Jewish things to non-Jewish things, you just say lahavdil. You say
Oh, I'm learning that today. I didn't know that.
Is that in Hebrew?
lahavdil means to
Lahavdil.
be. It should be differentiated.
To
So when you
differentiate.
say it going to the Hajj or going to Mecca
Yeah.
or going to this, we say, okay, but lahavdil.
But
It
no.
should be. It should be a you should know
The answer is no.
lahavdil.
that's- I didn't know that.
Lahavdil.
Lehavdil.
Lahavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Ken and Avdil.
Right. So it's So
Ken.
people go up there throughout the year. People just go to Hungary, take a car service up there, come back,
A
and
car service.
and then but this is the anniversary. I think over 20,000 people flew there, which we'll have to talk about
Yeah, we'll
what
talk
happened
about
on
that.
Lufthansa
But,
with it.
but keep painting the picture of what's
Okay.
happening at this place.
So here we are. We drive up there. We're driving up there we're in this bus with Dina, my best friend, her father, the oldest living grandchild of this rabbi. And he's 91. His brain's completely there. And just so you have A year ago, the same week, he wanted to go, but was so sick in Florida, and Hatzalah Air, the ambulance corps of the Jews, flew him to New York to a special doctor, Dr. Ibrahim and Dr. Matthews, and they just gave him life.
What was he sick with?
He had a heart thing,
Oh,
and,
I know
in
Dr.
Florida,
Ibrahim.
and in Florida, they were like, okay, this is it, kids, come say goodbye to your father, and anyway, he comes. This is a year later, a year from his deathbed. He's on a bus, psyched as all hell.
With his whole family, his grandchild, his great-grandchild.
I'm still trying. I'm honestly having a little bit of a hard time picturing the two of you on a bus.
No, it's like a chic little. It was one of those buses,
it was like one of those tour buses,
air-conditioned bus. It's got a nice thing.
Okay.
Everybody's got nice seats, and he's up front, and then he we're like an hour and a half up there, and he grabs the mic. There's a microphone for if ever is a tour guide, and I've heard many of his stories from the Holocaust, and then he hits us with one that I never heard. Crazy story about when they were being transferred from one camp to another. They put him on trains, and they were on this train, and his mother, who is the granddaughter of Reb Shaila, she also had the gift. She was called the Rebbitzin, and she lived in Florida. Many, many people went to visit her and all of that, and big rabbis would come to see her and get advice from her and all of that. She had a feeling that they shouldn't get off the train when the train stopped because they knew that there was... What did he say?
He said that
the Germans
would put military equipment on the same trains as the Jewish people, so that if there were troops from the other side ambushing them, they would be like, oh, we're bombing supplies, not just the people were hidden in the train that had tanks and cranes and whatever machinery on it.
So she knew to stay on the train or something, and everybody else that got off the train died, but she stood by the door and said no one got off the train. She knew that they would be safer on the train, and everybody that was with her survived. And there's he has hundreds of stories like this. This is just a throwaway. He just hey, everybody get in the vibe of where we're going and keep in mind what this is. We pull up, and now, yes, throughout the year people come there, but 20,000 people showed up to this event, and they had the army and the police organizing what's going on.
Crowd control.
Yeah, and there's a parking lot that there's lower from where the town is, from Kerestir, and you're supposed to park there, and then you take a shuttle up there. But he's 90, he's not getting on shuttles, and he's not doing that, and he is who he is.
VIP.
He's Madonna of this. It's like Madonna gets right into...
No, it was like being with Madonna. He was swarmed.
So they make the calls, and we drive right up to the town of Kerestir, the house where he was born. Insane. And he's showing us, over here I was born, over here my father used to see people. This is the room where they would make little notes and stuff. All of that, and a synagogue.
Wow.
And it was really cool. And
How old
and
was he
food, lots of food. It was always a place where people can come and eat. So they had this, I don't know if you saw my Instagram, they had this cholent pot, the stew pot that was the size of a jacuzzi.
Literally.
It was huge. And just for food. And people who know that this is a special place, they sponsor and they build tents and places for people to eat and places for people to pray. And it's an event. And then from where the town is, you drive up a few minutes, and that's where the grave is.
Okay.
And we drive up so we spend a little time down there. He spent about an hour in the house.
What's the house now, though? It's basically
it's almost like a museum.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
almost like a museum.
Kind of vibe.
Yeah.
There's plaques being this is what this place is, but it's a very public space, it feels like.
It's completely public. Everybody coming in and out, and especially during 20,000 people coming through one day. And there's
crazy.
Yeah. And the structure looks like they fixed it a little so it doesn't just fall. But you can tell some of the doors were from back in the day, and and the house was the same shape, and the courtyard of this is where a big rabbi lived. It was a thing. And
so then we went up to the grave.
The grave,
which
now,
they've built like a little house around it. So like, right? How would you describe the structure? Because I feel like the
call it
structure
an
is
ohel, which means
Tent.
tent, but it's not a tent. It's a solid building. There's a grave. It's the rabbi, Rabbi Shaila, and his son are buried next to each other. And then there's like a little. You've seen when I go to the Lubavitch Rebbe,
Yes.
where all those notes.
Yes.
Then there's like a little square where you can put the notes in. Now you have to imagine the room is, I'm gonna say, 25 by 25,
if that.
if that, 25 by 25 feet with 1,000 Hasidic men inside, packed. It is wall to wall Hasids. And we came in from the back and where the exit is. And we came in, and the security which was Shomrim, which means people who watch, from Antwerp, they came, and they were doing an amazing job. It was fascinating to watch how they had respect for everybody, and they were sweet to everybody, and they were just like, they knew people had a mission and a goal, and everyone thinks that they're a macher, but they really, really just took care of it, and they brought us in, and we're walking with a 90-year-old man.
People are like pushing and shoving. It's like
People are like very aggressive.
It doesn't shock me.
And
I'm sorry to say.
I'm holding him with one hand, his grandson's with the other hand, and we bring him in, and we're parting the way. And Leo's just like pushing. Leo was kind of in the back, making sure no one pummels from the back. We were pushing from the front, and no one comes from the front. And this is also kind of the time when, I don't know if you remember a year ago when that whole thing happened in Israel,
Yes.
the
Meron,
stampede.
when the stampede happened.
Yeah, it was giving that.
it
I
was
was like, for a second, I got a little scared. Like it was a little
Yeah.
intense.
It was intense. And
Okay. I mean, I don't know at what point like I can jump in here, but this whole thing sounds so insane. Like,
No, then you have to imagine we get we get in front of the grave, and one of the security people like basically hands me like a metal barricade, like the ones they use at concerts, and he's like, "Here, use this," and I just put it up behind me, and I
That's
have my
amazing.
arms out, and people are shoving like
why are
almost
they,
like
why
one.
why are they behaving like
They're
that?
not
There's not
behaving.
enough
It's
room.
not-
There's
it's-
not
All
enough
right,
room
then
for
don't
everyone.
let that many people
No.
in.
They can't.
So
These
I
people
have
came.
we have
It's-
barricades. We've made this little bubble for Dina's
People are there
father.
crying for children with diseases and they're crying. People were literally crying at this grave. They make this kind of way for us, and now we are about 3 feet, if maybe less, 2.5 feet from the stone.
I'm wearing my Prada sunglasses the whole time, just
Right.
Of
to give
course
context.
you
Everyone
are.
else is in full Chassid garb.
I
I'm
was
like,
wearing
I am
Shul
Nike.
Preen,
I saw
Rabbi
that.
Shul
I
Preen.
saw you in your
Did
baseball
very
cap.
black. Everything was very. It was. I was giving like security guard slash.
Yeah,
You
same.
know, like we're with him kind of. We're with him. Looks is the look we pull.
Yeah.
We had to pull a look. You can't. I was not doing. Dina's like everybody's just wearing a white shirt. I said I'm not wearing
Yeah,
a white shirt.
we
I'm
were-
coming with my black T-shirt. I'm coming as me.
All black Lululemon.
That's it. All black.
And then like
I
thousands
saw
of
the whole,
Hasidic
I
men.
saw the outfits.
And thousands
I
of
have
Hasidic-
a lot of questions.
No,
Keep
no,
going.
go ahead. So now we, out of nowhere, a chair
Floats over the crowd.
floats over the crowd. This red chair. You see it coming over 1,000 people's heads.
It's like crowd
being pat-
surfing.
Boom, 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 boom. It lands. We get it. We put it right in front of the tombstone. And now Yoikel, Rabbi Yoikel, Rabbi Yisrael Gross, the grandchild of this
Great grandchild.
great grandchild of this big, big rabbi, is now sitting in front of the stone after a year kind of waiting to get to this spot. And is like, we are all surrounding him. Me, Leo, his grandsons, his son-in-law, his wife, Dina's son-in-laws.
Where's Dina in all
In the
this?
women's section. Don't. Just
We'll get
relax.
there, we'll
Just
get
we'll
there.
get there. Just do me a favor.
Okay, go ahead.
Just breathe. And then now we're surrounding him, so he has a barricade. The whole place is squished, screaming, crying, and he's sitting there like he's in his living room. And he gets this moment of calm, and then he gets up, touches the grave, and says Kaddish and the place shuts up. And you hear it, and it is so insane, right? The place is shivering. Then he sits down, and he gets the notes out of his pocket for people who made huge donations to charities through him. And he says their names and he prays for them. And then we didn't want to just leave. So he said Tehillim, Psalms, and we prayed with him. Then he gave us all blessings at the tombstone, at the grave. And
I took my sunglasses off for that.
yeah,
part.
he took his sunglasses off. And we walked him out from the back, and he right away pulls out this stack of money and starts handing it to all the people that there's a lot of schnorrers there. I don't want to say beggars, people who need help. And they come
were
to
beggars.
these beggars and schnorrers. And
How
you
did they get there?
Great question.
They're
Must be hard to
always-
break even on this trip, but
They always.
I'm waiting for the part that Modi
Well,
performed.
they get up there anyway because they make sure they want to get up there to get blessings for whatever they're schnoring for.
What are they schnoring for?
Everything from a daughter's wedding that they have to make with no money, to a diseased child, God forbid, to an organization that's needs help. People are begging
That
for
could
money.
have been like a really good place for you to sell merch.
No, not that vibe, but it was.
No, but the whole time we were up there, it was literally like being with Madonna. Like he would walk 2 steps and then he would have to stop and like do a whole interaction with whoever was.
People call him, you know my grandpa, because I know your grandfather, I know him, I know who yeshiva he built, I know this and that, and there was a kid being bar mitzvahed.
Mhm.
This is how crazy the world is. So there was a kid being bar mitzvahed in the synagogue downstairs, not by the grave, downstairs. It was this kid just first time being bar mitzvahed. He had the tefillin on, a new hat, adorable, and they brought the kid out of the bar mitzvah, out of this to get a blessing from him. And I was standing to get a blessing from Rabbi Gross, and I'm standing. They have me in the picture, and what do they post? Comedian Modi was at this kid's bar. Like, really. Comedian Modi was at the. I'm like, could you send me a picture
For
without
the
my
record,
face broken?
I got recognized at the gravesite. We're bearing the lead here because someone clocked me from the podcast.
No
Yeah.
way.
Full on
full
chassid,
yoily.
a full yoily with the payas, the hat, the whole thing comes
Yeah.
over. He goes, Leo.
No!
I'm like,
Not
no.
good. Yeah.
I'm like, I listen to the podcast so much. You should know like this. It's very mysterious.
Oh
It's very, very mysterious. I like what you guys do. I like what you talk about. I like what you're saying. It's very mysterious. And so I know right away it was you. And then I look, I see Maury. I know that's Maury and Leo. We listen to the
I'm
podcast.
a big deal in Kerestir.
He was
I'm
a hit
big
in
That's
deal
a
Kerestir.
great T-shirt.
The what? I'm a big deal in
I'm a big deal in Kerestir.
I am not a big deal in Kerestir. Rabbi Rev Shail is the big deal in Kerestir, and it was unbelievable. And to see Dina in her element there, she's such a Rebbitzin. She's
She
full.
looked really chic.
She looked chic.
What
she
was
had.
she wearing?
First of all,
let's
she's
also
really
talk
thin.
about where
She's
the women
super.
are.
In a minute, she was super thin. She had this amazing outfit, full tznius, like a black. Was it Prada?
It was like a white button down with like a black vest over it, but like a very like flowy button down, and then like like the nice shoes and
No, the shoes,
and
the
a hat.
like
What
a
does
Prada
that mean
hat.
that she's a Rebbitzin?
She definitely has the powers.
Well, I don't know what that means.
They-
No, like really, like isn't I thought a Rebbitzin was like somebody who's
It
married
means
to
rabbi's wife, but in this case, it also means like look, Dina's father has some kind of a gift. People go to him for prayers. They have problems. He
This
helps
is
them
Rabbi
out.
Gross.
They come and he's helped many people in
Where
a
does
million.
he live?
in
real life?
Miami,
In
in
Miami.
Miami, and so he has that gift. Dina many times woke up and like called me. I had a dream last night, and like something happened. Like wow, that kind of stuff. So all right. So anyway, she looked chic, and she definitely had the Rebbitzin-ish vibe to her. And the women were in a section which I looked over because she gave me all the notes to put. She gave me to give her father all the notes from the women to put at the grave.
Okay, stop. Are women not allowed to put notes on the grave?
They are.
Okay.
They are. And there's usually a section where they come in, but because it was so packed, they were outside the. They weren't outside. They were at the gravesite, but not
But
like.
they had to stay
There
in
was
the
like a
back,
Right,
like
like
animals.
at the Lubavitch Rebbe's in Queens. There's the men and women are both at the grave at different sides,
Okay.
different sides, and it's not packed
What
like
sides? Where are the men and like?
the men
Are they like at the same side, or are the women like on the crappier side?
No. Both even good sides. They're both
Okay.
at
But
the
it was almost so aggressive in there that like it would
Women
have been.
couldn't handle
No.
it.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't handle it, but it would have been like
It's
hard for
it
them
wouldn't have
to
been sneeze.
Yeah, it would
first
have
of
been
all.
hard
It
for them
would not have
to-
been
I'm in someone's armpit, like
this,
this.
like this.
So I don't think they. I don't know. It didn't seem prohibitive. It just seemed like that's what was happening.
Yes,
at the
and they
moment.
didn't mind, and they knew they were at this holy, holy, holy site, and it's.
Periel is biting her lips so hard she's gonna bleed over the table.
I think if you were there, you'd have caught the vibe too, and not like I want to go to the gravesite right now.
It's not about that. I mean, I'm sure that that's true. I'm sure that there was a magical vibe there. That's iced tea, just so you don't think it's coffee.
Ew.
I should have just let you do it.
Ew. First of all, who drinks someone's drink like
What?
that?
I can't. I'm
fine.
dying of
It's
thirst.
fine.
Literally just drank piss.
It's good.
It's iced tea is so gross.
Iced tea is good. I mean, you can drink this. I don't have COVID. Or anything.
Oh, now
else.
she.
I hope you. I hope I have it. And you get it. I hope I have it. And you get it now.
Listen, don't try to like. It is what it is. Don't try to like make it okay. Like
just
it's
let
a
her have this.
It's
Yes,
a problem.
you're right. You're right. It's a big
No,
problem.
I
It's
think
an
I
issue.
don't agree with it either. and
Okay, that's
I
all.
want you to know that also I was in shul this week and I voiced my opinions on some
Oh
things.
my God! I have to tell you the story.
I love that.
So it's my father's parsha, my father's weekly portion. So we sponsored a cake and we did a whole thing. And Rabbi Gav Belino always makes he always gives a good speech.
How
My
come
father-
I don't get invited?
You're
to
more
these
than welcome to
things?
come to 6th Street Synagogue whenever you want. Anyway, so Leo's sitting there.
I'm usually asleep when Modi goes.
yeah.
to
So
shul,
anyway, so I
When
get
does Modi
to
go to shul usually?
it's not 9 a.m.
Saturday morning.
But I said come
you
to
go every Saturday.
yeah, if you can, you
can.
go. So we're
But
there, and
yes,
he's
if
sitting
you
there.
by some miracle, I was awake, so I just went with him.
He came to shul, and he's going through the parsha, and the parsha was the weekly portion was talking about like something not cute, like where you have to make people who have scars stay in a village or away. I don't want to get into it.
Anyone who had defects was like, no, you can't come up to
It's
the-
like leprosy type of a thing.
No, it was like if anyone has a white mark on the color of their eye, no.
Sahas.
If
And-
anyone has a limb that's longer
how-
than the other, no.
What?
Like,
Yes.
and I was like, this isn't nice.
Okay, so I said to him, "Could you
Wait.
find?"
Do
Th-
not
that's just
gloss
not.
over this. What does that mean? So if you have
This is
some
Old Testament, so I'm
imperfection,
not
you're
fighting for the Old Testament. There's enough people fighting for the Old Testament. I'm not even engaging you with this. It's what's written in the Torah.
Okay.
It's he didn't
You
like
should
what.
edit it out.
Okay, and that was her talking, not me. So I said, could you find another parsha to read? So all of a sudden he's looking and goes, yes, this is good. And it's the sabbatical year. Take a year off on the 7th. He goes, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a sabbatical year. And that was where, so you see,
I'm in
there
my
was a
7th year
miracle.
in New York.
It was
so.
I
very,
have
very
to tell
funny.
you something that just occurred to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't think of you immediately. So we're doing this comedy show fundraiser for Ukraine
Yeah.
Mhm.
that at Congregation Road Af Shalom,
Mhm.
which is going to be amazing, and you're performing at along with some other wild talent. Do you know what the date is?
What?
6/13.
613. Oh, wow. 613.
What's 6
That's the amount of mitzvot that are in the Torah.
Oh.
Isn't that
Wow.
crazy?
Yes.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
it's
right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
See, I can get with it.
Then we
but
went to, this is like now. Oh, well, good.
So hard cut from Kerestir.
We get back to Budapest, and then we fly to
Frankfurt
Frankfurt
to connect to Venice.
to connect to Venice. So now
Now you've heard of what's happening in Budapest at this given time.
Yeah.
How would you describe what the airport in Frankfurt looked like?
So you're in your head now, you're understanding that 20,000 Hasidim from New York, Muncie, Lakewood, all over Israel are flying in, and the airline that is closest and most convenient to work with this is Lufthansa, which is the irony of ironies.
Yeah.
And this is all happening, just swarming in. And you know I don't curse. And I'm telling you that, they came to this town, Kerestir, and took the Jews out to the camps. And one of them was Dina's father. And I'm telling you, this was the biggest FU to the EU ever. They're just 20,000 Hasidim are coming in. Children of children who came out of ashes have showed up on Lufthansa. These women and men on Lufthansa had no idea what was happening. They were in
The whole flight
shock.
was just Hasidim and then Modi and I, and then like one lost goy.
So when we flew from New York to Frankfurt, there were another 18 Hasidim that were with us. And the rest of the flight was just people who weren't Hasidic people. And we get off, and they knew there was a connection to Budapest, and there was a little bit of a delay. So someone was standing there with a sign saying Budapest. So we all went there. So it's me, Leo, 18 Hasidim. And one of them turns to me and says to me, "Are you going to Kerestir?" So I said to them, "Yes." He goes, "Are you going to work there?" Like they thought we were working the sound system.
were the caterers.
Like the catering or something.
Oh my God, that is hysterical.
So I answered them in Yiddish. I go, "No, I'm going with Reb Yoiko." That's my cousin, and it was amazing.
The whole
so
thing
now
was-
this was the day before. We had a full day just to hang in Budapest, but the day of, the entire flight was Hasidic, and they were a little bit unruly from what the flight attendants were saying, and some didn't wear the mask, some did wear the mask, which I'm sure was the situation. And then Lufthansa had to tell them, "We're not flying you, we're not putting you back on the flight." It was not a cute
Did
event.
you see the articles that came out
And the
that week?
videos that came out that week,
Yeah.
it was not a win-win for anybody.
Listen.
And Lufthansa didn't. I don't think I would have been like, you know what, this is happening one day. No mask, go, just do it. Not to.
No, you don't get a special pass.
But they also lumped them all into one. So some of
Wow.
them were wearing masks, some weren't. But the fact that they were all dressed as Hasidim, they took them all.
Can I
and
say
said,
something controversial?
Please.
That
Sure.
I do think that when you make a choice to follow a certain lifestyle that dictates how you look and how you dress and how you present yourself to the world, that when you find yourselves in those situations where there are bad apples, you are going to get lumped. It's just like how human psychology works. If you're someone standing behind the gate at an airport and there's 100 men all dressed the same standing in front of you, and some of them are wearing a mask and some of them aren't, and they're all standing together, you can't go through and point people out. You're just going to deal with the situation by saying, you guys can't get on the plane because you're all standing together. You're all together, basically.
I'm really into this version of Leo.
Come on,
And
man.
but I feel that way about anyone who decide like. I'm gonna also say something that I was kind of, because as someone who was at Kerestir, who for once I was the one who was dressed differently, right?
Right.
Comparatively to everyone else
What,
there.
head to toe in Prada?
Like
we were the fish out of water.
we were the fish out of water, so it made me kind of
Well,
process. We were the ones out of our
right,
element,
except
as
that
opposed.
you were like the most VIP people there.
No, but
We were
you know what
with,
I'm-
but we weren't. We were no.
in terms of how we were like presenting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He didn't go as Yoily.
no, he didn't
No,
go
I
as
didn't go as
early. If
Yoeli.
you had, you
No one
would've-
would have noticed me.
Yeah,
No one would have
noticed
recognized
me at all. But I do think that, like, and this applies to people of all religions. I think that when you make a choice, it's like, this is how I'm going to dress. These are the type of clothing I'm going to wear, and this is how I'm going to cover my head and my hair and etc. That you're going to have. It's unfortunate, and I don't think it's right. But like when you're at an airport and there's bad apples in the bunch, you're gonna get rolled in with the
But
bunch.
do you
Yes,
also
which is not a, but it's not a, it's not
Not a good thing, but people are acting like surprised. And
Right.
like, this is
Right.
how the
Do
human
you
brain.
also think that you have a responsibility if you're not chartering a private plane, that like you need to follow the rules of the airline, like put on a mask. If you
Okay,
don't want to
so
wear a
some
mask,
did, some didn't. I don't know what to tell you, but yes, they lumped them in.
I could definitely see a situation
Of
in which there were
course.
like 5 people not wearing a mask, but the other people like below their nose and like kind of not putting it on, and they're all together. They're all
Yeah.
traveling as a group. Like,
And
Listen,
then-
you guys know I'm an anti-masker now since the second
I know,
time
but
I
still,
got COVID.
but you're not an anti-chassid and you're not
No, of course-
anti-Jew.
of
I'm not anti-Chassid
And
or
they
anti-Jew either.
God
Lufthansa. I wasn't there.
forbid.
Ours was very smooth. We were a day before, so it wasn't a full Hasidic flight. But they lost it, and it wasn't cute. And videos
What
kept
happened?
coming.
Are you saying that like there was like anti-Semitism going on with
They're
Lufthansa?
not on our specific flights, but with all the flights full of Hasidim that week and those days that were happening in Hungary, so all the connecting flights through Frankfurt and everything, there were incidents that were like in the news, like on
of
MSNBC, like
anti-Semitism.
of being like Lufthansa accused of anti-Semitism
Wow,
by
okay,
like
I
kicking.
didn't. That's different. I did not know that. That's
Yeah,
what you
this was
guys
like-
were saying. I didn't read the news because
This was
I
the
was in
news,
the
yeah.
British West Indies.
Right.
Oh, we get it.
We get
You were
it.
have-
You're
you were-
that. You're all that.
But that's horrible.
It was horrible. Yeah,
It
it's
is
a horrible thing.
horrible.
It's like when you lump all. It's like when police are they lump all black people into
Yeah.
one. It's
That's
exactly.
a little different.
It's not that different, but
It's
it's well, yeah, it's not that different. And so the flight that so we were there, we flew there with a day extra, so it wasn't packed Hasidim on our flight, but the flight out of Budapest the next day was all Hasidim. It's an entire flight going from Budapest to Frankfurt, Modi and Leo, and two other poor businessmen who had no idea what happened to them. And the rest of the flight, Hasidim. At the gate, they had nonstop minyanim, the services for mincha, and they were passing out cakes, and they were passing out like food, and they all came on the plane, and they were fine actually. No,
Everyone was behaved.
everybody was behaved. They were very sweet. Funny thing happened, like the woman who was the flight attendant asks,
Yeah, as we're like as they're connecting this guy, like once we arrived to the destination and there wasn't, I always feel like it's interesting when the timing of people ask like a potentially awkward question. So she waited till like they were about to get off the plane in case she had to like sit in this for a while. So she, as like we're pulling up to the gate, she goes, the flight attendant goes, so what exactly, what festival was happening in Budapest? Just like out of curiosity, like what? And Modi turns to me and goes, she's asking so that she can request this week off next year.
which is going to be hysterical
Hilarious.
because this next week is not the next week of this year time. At
Right.
this time of the year will not be the same time as the Yord site because the calendars are different. The Jewish calendar.
Did you tell her that?
No, let her book her week off and then land right into this next year again.
Okay,
so
but then you guys came out of this and you flew into
Venice.
which
because I had a show in Venice. So instead of coming back to New York and then to Venice, we made a 4-day trip out of Venice, and it was
A lot of things happened.
it looked
We did
so
Shabbat in
sick.
Venice. We toured the Jewish Ghetto. We saw Kevin Hart. We went to the Biennale.
we
That
get to
trip.
we land in Venice, and it was Friday, right?
I think so.
It was Friday, so we had a connection to the Chabad rabbi at the Jewish Ghetto and his wife. She's like a Instagram tweeter thing. What's her
The
name on
Chabad
Instagram?
rabbi is wife
No,
is
his-
Instagram.
His wife is a
His
Chabad
wife is
rabbi.
just
Okay, who
active
cares
on
about this? Can you
social
guys tell
media.
me about Kevin Hart, please?
Oh, so we
This is what happened. We were in Prada. We were in the Prada store. You would think my whole closet is Prada. I own one Prada thing, but I was like, we're in Prada, and I see the salesperson taking a tray of champagne over to the other side of
And
the
you're
store.
like, "Thank
And
you."
I was like, ooh, someone's spending money. And I'm like, who could it be? So then I turn the corner and I see Kevin Hart. And I was like, what? And then Modi hadn't seen him yet, but there was like, he was on the over here and there was a mirror here and Kevin Hart was here. And they both look up and see each other in the mirror from
Oh
around
my
the corner.
God!
It was really cute. And then it was really nice.
we
You
just
guys-
Monica. We hugged, and there's a great picture. Took out a picture of us hugging, and it was like just so sweet to see him
him and his wife were shopping. And
shopping, and we
she
were
was
just
really nice.
Oh.
Have
you guys known each other forever?
Before he goes to his wife. Goes, he knew me before I was Kevin Hart, and he used to be at the cellar, and we used to. They used to let me sit at the table, and he used to come and watch us at Boston Comedy Club, and he was so sweet
was
and
very,
so
very
nice.
Sweet.
And we had the best time, and we connected, and it was just a great energy, and it was fun.
I love
And it was just a fun, nice meeting, and I was so happy that it happened. It was a highlight of the
What
trip.
was he? Was he also coming?
He's
from
doing a movie
Kerestir?
there. He went to Kerestir.
The title's gonna be Kevin Hart, Kerestir. We need another K.
That's exactly
that-
what. If you don't think that's what was in my head just now.
Kerestir, Kevin Hart,
Hart,
and
We'll get there.
We'll
I'll
get
figure
there.
it out.
but we had Shabbat in the Jewish Ghetto, which is insane. First of all, it's so hysterical. Everybody walks around Venice like, this is the oldest Jewish ghetto in the world. It's the oldest. They're so proud. I'm like, that's so horrible. It's like, you're the first ones to invent Jews can only live here.
It was educational. I thought we're touring the Jewish Ghetto. I thought, oh, this is just the neighborhood where mostly voluntarily Jews just happened to sort of like
Yeah.
congregate around, and like this is where they lived. And they're like, nay, there was a gate. It closed at night. You had to check in and out.
No.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, yeah.
intense. Like they're like this,
Really?
and they pointed at like in the wall. They're like, this is where the gate
Are
was.
you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you had
And was
to
there a Prada there then too?
I don't.
No,
Unfortunately,
the Prada
no.
was in a different section,
I'm
but
just
like,
kidding.
it's just like you hear Jewish ghetto, but like the story, long story short, because I mean it's an insane story. There were Jews living there, and they were running, and
It was
it
like
was
the
a very
1600s, right?
yeah, 1600. Yeah, 1600. No, 1500, 16th century.
I'm pretty
Whatever.
sure.
When the years begin with 15 something, right? Like 1539, like that. And then it kept growing, they kept expanding, and it was because Venice was a main, the reason it's so rich and beautiful because they had money, because there was a lot of trade coming through there. And the
right.
Jews were the ones funding it and getting loans for it and doing all kinds of stuff, and they made them live in the ghetto, and they made them wear yellow hats when they walked outside
Are
the
you
ghetto.
serious?
It's insane.
Yeah, we learned
Same.
a lot. We had a very good tour guide. I forget her name for the Jewish Ghetto, but she wasn't Jewish.
I want to do that.
Um,
That's
It was
crazy.
brilliant.
Yeah, I could have listened to that woman talk about anything. When I left, I was like, you need to do
She gave,
audiobooks.
she gave like
She
but
needs to
she's
come
speaking.
on the podcast. Maybe
she
we
keeps
could
very-
zoom her in.
She spoke very, very like very
Like a female David Attenborough.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she's like, and even though the synagogues are so beautiful, the Jews were not allowed to participate in actually building them because they weren't allowed to be in the guilds that were building guilds.
Yeah. So
And she was like, and like you're
yeah,
like,
it was very,
what?
It was crazy.
And then it just didn't it didn't stop. She was so good in this and just nonstop. And then that night I went to Chabad in the ghetto, and there was Friday night services, and the rabbi made kiddush in the middle of the blessing on the wine,
in the square.
and we sang Shalom Aleichem and
You must have
Eshet
been
Chayil.
so happy.
I was so happy, and there was police there, but not to make sure the Jews don't leave, to make sure no one kills the Jews, which was a nice.
And shout out to Gam Gam, the kosher restaurant where we ate like 3 meals.
we weren't. They invited us for Shabbat. We
Yeah.
ate there. No, we had lunch with them when we first got there Friday after, and they said we'd like to come Friday night, and then we went there twice on our own after, and the food's delicious.
Delicious.
I
Really,
just
really
wanna
good.
Say that
Gam
I feel
Gam.
like
Anybody going to
Can
Venice?
we-
Gam
people-
Gam.
Can we stop promoting places
No,
that
but
aren't sponsoring
They were
us,
so
please?
sweet. And there's a yeshiva
No,
there.
there is someone
and
else
there's a
we need to
mikveh there.
mention.
Oh my God.
Venice Luxury, Avivit. She is a sponsor at this point. She reached out on Modi's Instagram. We get a DM from someone whose handle is @Venice Luxury, and I'm in Venice, and I'm like, I should open this. So I open it. She goes, "Hi, I'm a super big fan. I run a luxury travel concierge
You're
service.
like, we'll be there in 5 minutes.
What can I do for you?" And I was like, everything.
No. So
That's
Leo says
so
to me,
chic.
Leo says to me, I want to see the Biennale,
The art
Yeah.
art
festival.
festival, and
Obvious.
I fully dyslexic, right?
No,
Daniele.
no, because a key part of
Which
the
is
story is that you use voice to text. So you're voicing into your WhatsApp, we want to go to Biennale, which comes out Daniele.
Daniele,
Which is
which is the number one, like supposed to be the number one, which is not, but it's a very top tier hotel and has this terrace restaurant that is magnificent. She
Stunning.
goes, I got you in there for 12:30 at lunch. It's impossible. We got you all set. Then I go, lunch. I go, he looks at them. He goes, no, I want the. I go, so I go, no, we want to go to the Biennale, the festival. She meets us there. She knows every single artist being presented.
She waltzed us right in.
Amazing.
Right in there.
Oh my God, I love this.
She knew the backstory of every single piece of art. They train them because this thing is
Yeah.
there for a while.
Yeah,
She's an
I've been
official
to
tour.
Biennale in Venice.
She's an official
It's-
tour guide.
She's the only Hebrew-speaking licensed official tour guide of Venice.
Obviously, you guys found her. I
She
mean,
found us. She
Avivit-
found us.
Avivit, she invited us to dinner with her family.
We had
Like, it
dinner
was
with
very
her kids,
special.
and like her son was golfing, like in Venice. It's like and she's amazing, connected up the wazoo. It's so funny. At one point, you're walking through Venice, and there's these buildings from 1500s, and you're thinking like some of them are closed, like they just. What do they do with these old buildings? And that 2 seconds later, she tells, hey, there's a part at the St. Mark's Square that has been closed for 500 years. They're just opening it now. It's the opening day. Do you want to come with me? I'm like, yes. And
Yeah,
it was
she
this
hooked everything
museum.
up.
She hooked everything up.
And her family was sweet.
I
She
feel
was a
like
real...
you in Venice with all of this is like very on brand.
Wait,
It
okay.
was very
It
on
was
brand.
very
the
on
whole
brand.
thing was very on
It was
brand.
very
Yeah.
on brand. And then we had the show. Okay. So now we
The
have to
whole
make
purpose of this trip was for you to do this
a
private event.
Now, we have to say it so
Are
that
you
no one
sure?
finds out who this was for. So let me
I'm
handle
gonna not
that.
talk.
Let me just make sure that that's... There was a family trip, they calling it, of 3 couples that went to... They actually went to Kerestir first, and then they went to Venice, staying at the St. Regis, but they took a mansion next door because they had to have kosher food. They brought a kosher chef, and a mashgiach, somebody to watch over to make sure that everything is kosher.
So they were sleeping in the St. Regis and eating in the palace next door because it was kosherfied.
It was kosherfied for them. And then they had a million things set up, and this tour guide, Lalechet, I will definitely tell you that it's this tour guide this tour agency called Lalechet, and they set it up. And these couples are very religious. And the guy who was planning it with the tour guide, with the tour person, let's one of the evenings bring Modi.
Mm.
So that was the reason of us being in Venice. And now I'm performing for 6 people.
This is like my favorite story ever.
Okay, so I'm performing for 6 people. So now,
First of all, we walk into this palazzo, and I was like, oh, this is where we get hunted for sport. It's just like these double giant doors clanging shut behind us, like this giant marble entryway. I was like, this isn't one of those movies
you
where...
get where the mansion was, where the show was. They have a living room, and they had like gondola rides before, and they had the Ma'ariv service and all of this stuff, the evening service. And this was the evening event.
It's like 10:30 at night.
It's 10:30 at night. We meet
This is insane.
we meet the guy, and because you can't really find this place, this mansion.
'cause
So
Venice
we
is a
met in the
maze.
lobby of the St. Regis, where I all of a sudden hear Hebrew. You always hear Hebrew anywhere you go,
Yeah.
and it's people we knew from Israel.
Oh
And
my
we like,
Yeah, it
oh
was
my
crazy.
God, how are you? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And then this Hasidic guy walks into the full curls and everything to get me, to go bring me to this place to do the show. And like, he sees me, he goes, Modi, yeah, bist du bereit? Are you ready? I go, yeah, I'm a guy. And we go around the corner, we walk in there, they're prepared. They were told there was going to be some type of an event after their dinner and their dessert and the prayer, and it's me. So there's 6 people and me. 2 of the couples, and obviously the guy that hired me knew who I was, kind of. They are from a religious neighborhood. I'm not going to mention the neighborhood,
Okay.
but they're like, it's a very uptight Jewish.
I promise you they're not listening. That's
I
how religious
promise
they
you
are.
this will get somehow to, it takes 2 seconds and 2 yentas, and it's in their ear.
Okay.
And I wouldn't want to ruin, I don't need to expose them, and they don't need
You're not
that.
exposing them.
So then I get there, and everyone except for one of the ladies was so into it. So into it. Cracking up, laughing. Modi's here. I was wearing my Modi yarmulke. Oh my God, give me that for my sister's kid loves whatever. And I was like, and then this is a religious guy. I go, as soon as I'm done, you can have the yarmulke, which is hysterical. Anyway, I get them going. I get them going, and the woman that wasn't into it, she wasn't into comedy happening. She wasn't into me. I was telling Leo, like, she hated my guts, but no, she wasn't amused. This was not for her.
Okay.
And she was afraid it was going to get dirty. And so I was like trying to, I was being super clean. And then I was kind of like testing a little bit. I said, I had a joke about, wow, you guys are staying at the St. Regis. Much better than the Catskills. And then he said to me, he goes, from the Catskills? I go, of course I'm from the Catskills. I stayed there once. I called the manager. I said, hey, I got a leak in the sink. He said, go ahead. Which is hysterical. And she goes, that's not a clean joke.
Yeah.
So she right away, so she set that tone. She set the tone of, I'm not amused by this.
What age range?
50.
Okay.
They're 50.
So they would love me.
Oh, yeah, you would be a hit.
I'll get you the gift.
And please help me welcome to the sofa, Periel. And you could put your foot on one of the pieces of art on the wall behind.
Do you know what it reminded me of? I read a lot of things about 1700s, 1800s, England, where there was saloon and parlor games and parlor celebrities who would do seances type things, or these sort of characters or shows that they would do. That's what it felt like. I was you were in this dimly lit sort of living room on the canal in Venice with these people on these sofas.
They were
and they were make us laugh.
And then it was it was just they were into it, laughing, and the husband of the woman not into it was cracking up, but he knew he couldn't overlaugh because she's not laughing.
It was like a
and
Will
the people
Smith
that were
situation.
laughing, the ones that were laughing hard would laugh so hard and then look at her not laughing and laugh even harder because it was funny that it was funny that she wasn't laughing. Anyway, it was a fun night. The effort was made. He definitely made an effort to have a fun time, and I think they did have a fun time.
That's incredible.
And that was
we got a 4-day trip to Venice out of it.
But also, it feels like that's not easy to perform for 6 people.
It would have been easy if she kind of was into it and she went with it, and it wasn't dirty at all. And believe me, I all my jokes were set to be clean, and she was just gone with it. But she wasn't amused by the fact that this was happening. I think she'd have been much happier if he brought a rabbi in to talk about something that spoke about Jews of Italy in the 1500s. Which they had a tour guide like that too, but she was hoping for that,
That's
not
part of your
da
set?
da 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 da. Have some fun, folks. She was not into that. She wasn't amused. Period.
She sounds like a lot of fun.
No, don't. She sounds. She's her thing.
How long did you perform for?
I did 25 minutes. Which is not bad. 25 minutes.
So we're in Venice for 4 days leading up to this performance that lasts 25 minutes.
And I could see,
we're sitting there.
We're sitting there. They're facing me, and I'm facing to where the hall is, where I can see the guy that arranged it.
Yeah.
So he's cracking up.
Oh,
He's
I'm sure.
dying.
I have no doubt.
Not only is he dying from the material, he's dying from the situation.
Right.
Yet it's also his client. And then I see that the guy that hired me is texting. And I guess he told him, give him the red light. Let's end this because my wife is not featuring this. And then Leo pops out with his phone and the flashlight, and Leo gives me the light. He gives me the light, and I'm like,
I just want you to imagine 6 religious people, Modi performing in a living room in a mansion in Venice, me across the hallway with my phone, let's get out of here.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and you were like, see ya, bye, and we just ran out.
And it was they got a good show, and they were the other couples really, is he leaving? And I said, thank you so much. And one of the couples was laughing so hard. He was drinking tea. He had a spit take, and the whole thing fell on his shirt. It was so good, and she just didn't give it. She's like,
It was a good show.
It was a
good
good
and it was a
show.
good show.
I
It was
gave it. I
amazing.
gave it. I could have given more. I would do this again in a heartbeat. I've done this type of thing before, where you had a table and it's more of like a kumz. It's like a singing type of comedy thing. Like someone invited me to a birthday party at a dinner table, and it was for someone's birthday, and it was hysterical. I was going through my
It's
material.
more of an appearance. You're doing
Yeah,
an
but
appearance than,
I did do jokes and told them what I was working on and where
yeah,
I
it's
got
a
it
great
from.
gig. Are you kidding?
It was amazing and it was fun, and I'm blessed that it was the whole thing beginning to end was a blessing and amazing opportunity, and
I love it. I think it's amazing.
and I think now it's time for the light here.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
giving you the light now.
So shout out to Reb Shaila. Thank you very much for having us at your grave, and we look forward to many, many, many of the blessings for us and all of our listeners. Modi_live on Instagram, modilive.com for shows coming up. LA is almost sold out, so get your tickets for that. And then Christmas show is on sale, by
Yeah,
the way.
everyone, listen. If you're hearing this, get the tickets to the Christmas show now because they always sell out, and this year is going to be better than ever. It's at a crazy venue, and they've been on sale for. You're getting plenty of notice, is what I'm saying.
Yes, plenty of
Last year-
notice.
Don't complain
Yeah.
in November.
Yeah, I don't want to get any DMs from anyone in late November asking
We
for
just
tickets
found
to the
out,
Christmas
yeah.
show. They've been on sale for a few weeks now. They'll continue
And
to
they're
be on
moving.
sale
The tickets are moving for
So,
December.
December
yeah.
24th and 25th, I believe. They're
Yeah.
2 shows.
At Sony.
So
And
just shout out.
and you had
yeah.
a show last night at
did. I had
at
a-
stand up, and it was fun. It was
very
good.
fun.
But how do they find out about your next show?
On my Instagram, Periel Ashenbrand, on June 13th,
Okay,
which is how many mitzvot there are in the Torah.
6/13, and info at leolive.com or
Info at
Leo
modilive.com.
info or Leo_Vega if you want Leo's Instagram. Thank you all very much, and support your local Jew.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.